Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Gabby Windey sparks dating rumors and Hannah and Dylan give an update on wedding planning. Plus, is Tayshia Adams dating Luke from Summer House? And we break down all the drama from the fantasy suites. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Deputy Editor Sarah Heron. And Sarah, we made it to fantasy suites and it did not disappoint.
Honestly, it was a pretty solid episode.
Yeah.
I was quite conflicted about how to feel, but it was nice to feel something.
It was nice to feel something. Before we get into it, a lot of people were really excited that Charity was named the new Bachelorette. Ruth says super happy about Charity being the next Bachelorette. And Estiletti says, we are here for Charity for sure. Can't wait. So yeah, it's going to be, should be a good season. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, we have to wait and see. I think that overall people are definitely excited, and I do have to correct myself. I think I forgot Michelle last week.
Yes, some people did call you out in the comments. That one.
I got a few emails because I said the same thing. I recorded the podcast, and I'm very sorry, everyone. I love Michelle. I was just talking, off the top of my head. It wasn't like a research thing, and I left her out on purpose. Love Michelle. Can't believe I forgot her. I'm really sorry. Charity, 4th Black Bachelorette, here for you.
Here for you. All right. Well, let's get into our news. And speaking of Bachelorettes, Gabby Windey potentially has a new man in her life. And it might be her Dancing with the Stars co-star, Alan Burstyn. I kind of saw this coming. I don't know why. I should have put this out there. When they were paired up during Dancing with the Stars, I was like, oh, they have some chemistry. So anyway, she posted a photo on her Instagram stories on March 16th while out to dinner with a mystery man. And in the picture, there are several plates of food and alongside a hand that does not belong to Gabby. Like I said, they were paired up during the season of Dancing with the Stars after Val got COVID. And they were, they've been on tour together on Dancing with the Stars. I can kind of see this.
So because I was confused because I was like, he was with Jesse James Decker and she was with Val, but there was that week Val had COVID and you thought you maybe saw sparks then.
I kind of felt like a chemistry between the two of them. I don't know. I don't know. I can see this. And then there's the Instagram photo of him trying on her dancing costumes on Dancing with the Stars. So I don't know. Here for it.
It makes sense. This tour has been long. They have been on a long tour. They're on in close quarters. They're doing these sexy dances. It's less about judging. So you're having a little bit more fun because you're not in a competition. You're just living it up. And clearly the Vinny Gabby flirtation was just flirtation. So maybe this was brewing when we didn't know.
Maybe it was there to throw us off, I guess. So we'll have to wait and see. Who knows if, now that the tour's over, they're not going to be spending that much time together. So I don't know. We'll see if love survives.
Yes. Well, another Bachelor couple, a confirmed one. Hannah Godwin revealed that she and fiance Dylan Barber are in the midst of planning their wedding and have secured a location for the special day. She told E! News, we chose our location at the beginning of this year, which only gave us about 8 months to start planning the entire thing. But we like a challenge. We're excited. I think keeping our location a secret has been really fun because we cannot wait to show where it's at. We've secretly visited a few times. It's not in the US, which is fun and exciting, but kind of keeping that private. It's secret. It's fun.
I feel like they've been engaged forever.
They have been engaged forever. So happy for them that they are making it down the aisle. I bet they're getting married in Italy because everyone gets married in Italy now. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see the pictures.
Yeah, going to be beautiful. So good for them. Maybe it'll be on a beach in Mexico. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Maybe that's the secret look. They visited a few times. They'll be back. Oh, that'd be lame if that's what the secret was.
It would be so lame. All right. Well, speaking of things that aren't lame, let's get into our Bachelor recap because this fantasy suites, like we said, did not disappoint. Zach went in with the no sex fantasy suites rule and quickly threw that out the window.
It's so funny because I feel like a lot of times I do think if they took that out, it would eliminate a lot of issues because we've seen time and time again, Bachelor couples break up because they watch it back. They find out that they had sex with them. They find out things that they don't feel comfortable. They crossed boundaries, whatever. But for Zach, I think it backfired because he didn't stick to it. It was a noble effort, but it made it worse versus the people who just argue that I compartmentalized the relationships. That's a better argument than giving into the temptation.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. Don't put it out there. I know we're trying to create a good TV show and a good story. And they're like, so Zach, what's your game plan going into this? And they're like, oh, maybe I won't have sex with anybody. Okay, we're going to go with that. Make sure you tell me on camera that that's what we're going to do. And, and then I just love how they tried to tempt him in every single way. They're like, oh, there's a huge bed. Let's put the rose petals, everything. They really upped the sex factor for this. And it made him really hard to, I guess, refuse the temptation. But this kind of just backfired on him. Like, and even with with Katie, she's like, you really didn't need to tell me this. Like, I didn't need to know. I kind of suspected going into this is what it was going to be like, but you didn't need to put it out there for me.
Yeah, I think the question should be like with Clayton, I always go back to the most recent. If Susie and him had that conversation and he knew he wanted to pick Susie at that point and he cared enough, he could have prioritized it and said, I got to resist Gabby and Rachel and I got to do that any way I can.
Yeah.
But because he didn't think to ask Susie in advance, he then found himself in a corner.
Right.
If this meant that much to Zach, he doesn't have a big backbone here because he gave in on the second date. Yeah. But you're allowed to, I get it, it's confusing. There's no like right way to do this, but I just think that he could have asked the girls, you know, are you going to have a problem if you're intimate with more than one person? And because it's the show, like Katie said, I anticipated it, but I don't want to hear it and know that you couldn't stick to something that you planned. Like, that's just worse to me. Like, I think, but even with Ariel, like, I was shocked it wasn't her. Like, I fell for all of that. Like, she was like being overly sexual, the music, the bathing suit, his face, he like was freaking out. Yes. Like, no poker face. He was not wanting to say no. And I fell for it. And with Gabby, I don't know. And then I was like, okay, it has to be Katie because I feel like Katie's going to win.
That's what I thought too.
So the fact that it was Gabby did shock me.
It did shock me too. And because I feel like it's so obvious now that it's Katie. And like, I just feel like and knowing what she said to him, like she's so in her head that I'm so scared to be number 2. And like, if he has like any doubts about her, this is going to shatter her self-confidence. It really is. Like, it's going to be really hard for her to recover from this. And you even see it during the rose ceremony too. She's like, he's literally just staring at Katie. It's like, why am I here? And you just feel terrible for this girl because she's not going to be able to, I feel like even if they get engaged, I don't even know if she's going to be able to kind of separate this and be able to recover from this. I don't know if their relationship would be able to survive.
Yeah. And I also feel like, I mean, I don't want to, like, I feel like I've been really harsh on Zach, but like, did he sleep with her because she was feeling insecure about being number 2? Yeah. And he said, I'm falling in love with you. Like, did he think about the weight of these actions after she expressed these concerns? Was it a way to put a Band-Aid on the problem and keep her around for another week? Right. Or is it not Katie? And this is just Gabby in her head and they're trying to make it seem like it's not going to be Gabby and they're trying to throw us off in the edit, and maybe he picked Gabby to be the one to give into because he was going to pick her, so he knew all's well that's going to end well. But if it's not her, it makes me kind of think he did it to like end the discussion.
Right. And like, then you turn into the villain, which you didn't want to be, but then you end up, like he says in the preview, this really ended up biting me in the ass. And and
it's not, they can't be perfect. I get it. And I think it was a noble effort. And it's ironic because the Sean Lowe of it all just keeps coming up because they're throwing him in our face, but also because he's trying to emulate him. And clearly Sean Lowe, everyone knows, didn't have sex on the show. He had been celibate for several years. He was saving that for marriage after, he was reinvented himself, whatever. Matt James, like I told you, has said in his book, he didn't have sex with anyone on the show. Mm-hmm. But like, I think with Zach, he wanted to be like Sean Lowe because Sean Lowe was a successful bachelor. The show is telling him be like Sean Lowe, but clearly he doesn't have the same opinions on things as Sean Lowe because he didn't feel strong in this conviction at all. So it just looked weirder.
It did. It looked really weird. And it's, I understand you don't want to keep secrets. You want to tell everybody, but maybe there are some things that you should have kept to yourself. And I'm actually kind of surprised that Katie was like, all right, you know what? Forget it. Let's go. We're going back in. We're going to finish this fantasy suite date off. And I guess she understands the nature of the game and like how it, how everything works. But it was a little surprising that she was able to get over this so quickly.
And I actually was surprised that Ariel handled the exit well because she went first. And so she was the one who like knew this was the plan. And then she knew because he admitted like things didn't go the way I thought. So she must be like thinking like, what does that mean? I'd be like, okay, which one did you sleep with?
Right.
After you told me you weren't going to sleep with anyone.
Right. No, that's so true. I probably like nothing like she didn't really process it. Like it was probably happening so quickly. And then she's probably like, oh my God, in the car ride home, she's probably like, oh wait, that SOB slept with.
Yeah. And then the fact that when Katie whispered, and like they were hiding under the roses, they're very good friends, I feel like, from what we've seen. So her whispering, like, I know what happened. And she was like, oh my God, like, this is so cringe. And she's like, I'm not like shaming you. Like they were like trying to be supportive, but it just like made me cringe. And I felt really bad for Gabby when she said she felt like she was wearing a scarlet letter. Because that isn't fair. Like the whole thing about the fantasy suites at this show, it's also taboo, right? Because like you want to be able to talk about sex and that's okay. Like I'm not saying they should hide it. But like, you should be on the same page of, are we going to share this with the audience or not, and make sure it's okay? Because Gab, I bet they like agreed to keep it like on the DL since he was planning not to sleep with anyone anyway. And I do think Zach should tell Kody he shouldn't lie and pretend like he went away with it, like, or went along with what he said. But that's not fair to Gabby to agree. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's
right. No, she's right. And Gabby was like, well, this was something that between us. Why are you telling everybody? Like, I totally agree with you. Like, this is not something that I did privately. I don't need you to make it public and tell everybody that, I had sex with you. Like, it's nobody else's business but our own, even though you are filming it and the whole world is going to find out eventually. But it's not his place to tell somebody else, I guess. And
back in the day, the way the show did it, like, it was always implied. It was always like these euphemisms. Like, it was ridiculous to zoom in on the bathing suit on the floor. Like, I get it. And a part of me thinks it's refreshing to talk more publicly, like more openly, like after the Hannah Brown years, to be like, yes, we did have sex. Like, it's not a crazy thing to say. But there was something, I guess, a little easier about when we kept it implied. Yeah. So we weren't adding up who'd you sleep with, how many days in between. And it like, the allure was more like, oh, what happens in the fantasy suite? Now it's like, oh, like, we know too much about what happened in the fantasy suite.
We're good. We're good. I don't need that.
Yeah, I think it's better to keep it vague.
Right. I mean, so now going into next week, I mean, what are your predictions? I still think Kody.
I think Kody too, just because I thought Kody from the beginning, and that Gabby comment of like, he's looking at Kody. Yeah. But I think he's an idiot if it's Kody, because he told Gabby he was falling in love with her after they slept together and after he reassured her that everything was going to be okay. And that's a tough look. And now Kody is going to be watching that. And maybe he told Kody too, and they cut it out so it wasn't so obvious. Yeah. But from what we've seen as the audience is he literally said to Kody, I don't even have the words. But like with Gabby, he had them 5 minutes ago.
That's true. He didn't have the words. I don't know. These Bachelor editors, they do know how to throw us off. So I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. But like I said before, I think Gabby is going to have a really hard time, picked or not, to, kind of get over this, because it's really a blow to the confidence, like what he did to her. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We got one more week to go. And then we can wrap this season up in a little bow and send it on its way. Yeah. All right. But we're going to be recapping it every step of the way. All right. Before we wrap up, let's check in on our social spotlight of the week. So this was posted by Demois, saying they spotted Tayshia Adams with Luke from Summer House. So potential new couple alert. Maybe they're just going on a date, getting to know each other. I'm here for it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's Luke is an interesting one because he's very cute, and I always liked him on the show, but I feel like he didn't have much luck with the women on his own shows, whether Winter House or Summer House. They kind of like either get the ick or like something happens. And then we watched him with, Ashley Darby, and now this would be another like reality star, and it just feels, maybe that's just the people he meets. I don't know, like that's fair, but it's a little like, how many? Right. Reality stars. There's too many reality stars.
We're going through all the shows until one sticks.
Yeah. Jason and Luke from Winter House both kind of do that, and it's a little confusing.
A little suspect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Here for the Right Reasons. Like we said, the finale is next week, so we're going to be recapping it all. So make sure you stay with us, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.